Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairwoman Fretwell. It's an honor to be here this evening, and let me start by saying congratulations, graduates, you did it. Class of 2013, you did it, and I am confident that the education and the experience that you received here has prepared you well for the future. And this year's graduating class has quite a number of accomplishments, whether it's winning a championship in women's lacrosse or cross country, getting an award from the American Institute of Architects in the annual design competition, winning the Department of Defense Cyber Crime Center Digital Forensics Challenge for the second year in a row, or going on the Today Show to talk about how to move your small business forward. What you've done in the years leading to today's ceremony took hard work, self-discipline, and sacrifice. So today is an important day for you to celebrate your accomplishments with your friends and family, who I'm sure are as grateful and proud of you as you are of yourselves, and I'm sure deserving of the credit as well. So again, let's give friends and family a round of applause. You'll look back on pictures of this day years from now and see younger faces smiling back. But always remember, as your president reminded you already, that today is only the beginning. One picture in a scrapbook or a desktop folder that is ready to be filled with more memories and even grander accomplishments. Dr. Lindsay, Chairwoman Fretwell, and members of the board, faculty, staff, alumni, distinguished guests, family and friends, and graduating students, thank you for the honor to share this special day with you. On behalf of Governor O'Malley and his family, as well as mine, let me say congratulations for a job well done. Before I offer my words of advice, and Chairman Fretwell, I'm not sure if it's words of wisdom, but advice perhaps, I'd like to say something about our community colleges and about this great community college. We talk often about how community colleges are the primary workforce developers in Maryland, and that's true, they are. But our community colleges are also important because of the overall impact that our community colleges have in our communities. The proof is right in the numbers. Over 500,000 Marylanders attend one of our 16 community colleges every year. And 7 out of 10 college students in Anne Arundel County will enroll at some point here at Anne Arundel Community College. In Maryland, we recognize value and impact when we see it, and that's why since 2007, Marylanders have increased our financial support to this school by 34%, and why we're going to keep on supporting Anne Arundel Community College and all of our community colleges in the years ahead. This school, in addition to being a fantastic place to get an education, it's also one of the building blocks that makes Anne Arundel County and Maryland strong. You are, in fact, the community's college. This school teaches so many, and we can see the diversity right here today. Diversity of age, of gender, of race, ethnicity, and nationality. Diversity that's a real reflection of what our communities are all about, working together, finding strength in our differences as well as our similarities. So today represents a great achievement, but you're actually just getting started. Your graduation is the beginning of a journey that will shape who you are and what you will do with your life. Now is a time, if you have not already, to figure out what motivates you, to define your life's goals, and to determine what contributions you will make in this world. I remember when I was sitting where you are sitting today, It was 1984. Ronald Reagan was the president, and we were at the height of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. I was days away from deploying with the 4th Combat Aviation Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, to West Germany. The Berlin Wall had not yet fallen. I was serving with some of the most patriotic Americans from all 4 corners of this country. I listened to Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Elton John, and Madonna on these things, the 33 RPM, 12-inch vinyl records. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. We call them albums, records. During my freshman year, the Space Shuttle Columbia flew the very first shuttle mission. And by my senior year, the Orioles, with Iron Man Cal Ripken, were the reigning champions of Major League Baseball. And Washington didn't even have a big league team. And here we are. It's 2013. A piece of the Berlin Wall is now in the museum in Washington, D.C. I still listen to Stevie and Michael and Elton, not so much Madonna. But now on my iPhone, iPad, iTouch, and iPod, and my son and daughter helped me download it from iTunes. The Space Shuttle program flew its final mission after 30 years and 135 missions, 2 of which ended tragically. And Washington finally has a big league team. And much has happened and changed since I was sitting where you're sitting today. But even then, just as you are today, we were ready to make a difference in the world, and we asked ourselves, how? Since you began your studies here at Anne Arundel Community College, so many significant and historic events have occurred in our country and around the world. We endured the Great Recession, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, and while technically over, may continue to challenge many of you as you enter the work world. And we looked in with horror at the terrible violence in Boston and Newtown, in Wisconsin, and Aurora, but we also witnessed humanity at its most generous. We saw Americans come together and support the victims of violence, as well as the victims of natural disaster, and most recently in Oklahoma. We welcomed home the last of our troops from Iraq, and with a little bit of prayer, soon we'll welcome home our troops from Afghanistan. We saw the Mars Curiosity rover land, which helped us learn more and see more of that planet than ever before. And this year, we cheered on the Ravens as they won the Super Bowl. So much has changed, yet one question remains the same. How will you make a difference in our community and in our country? One day, your children and grandchildren and the historians, authors, and news anchors of their time will look at what you did with your life. And I believe that they will see greatness in each and every one of you. It was Dr. King who said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Your generation is driven by a desire to make a difference, and not any difference, a big difference. My hope is that you will be inspired by Dr. King's words, that you will be inspired by the faculty who have assisted you in this journey, that you will be inspired by your friends and your families, and that you will seek to achieve greatness and make a difference through service. I grew up in a home where the lesson of service was taught each and every day. My father taught his children that you need to help other people before you get around to helping yourself. My father was raised by his grandmother in a poor community in Kingston, Jamaica. He witnessed disease and illness, much of it never went treated. When my father graduated from high school, all he wanted to do was to be a doctor and to heal people. My grandmother wasn't a wealthy person, but she understood the importance of a good education. She spent most of her life toiling in the homes of wealthy people, cleaning their toilets, preparing meals for their families, and raising their children. Yet my grandmother scraped together enough money to put my father through college. He attended medical school, and for most of his working life, he treated patients in the poorest communities near where I grew up. Every morning, he would eagerly head off to the office or the hospital, anticipating another day in which he could make a difference in the lives of the people that he saw, his patients. Every evening, he would come home, and I could see the personal satisfaction he had in knowing that he helped others who were less fortunate than he. My father shared stories of his patients. He loved his patients. One day, I had gone off to college, and I returned home for Thanksgiving break, and I noticed a filing cabinet in the basement of my parents' home. And this, of course, was long before the days of HIPAA, so there were no violations of the law. Being the collegiate that I was and curious as I was, I opened that filing cabinet, and I noticed the names of many people who my father shared with me and our family around the kitchen table. As I dug a little deeper, I noticed that the files were invoices, and many, if not most of them, had never been paid. And it was then that I fully realized the lesson that my father had taught me and my brothers and sister as a child. My father spent years seeing patients, evenings and weekends, hospital rounds and house calls, because all he wanted to do was to heal the sick and to serve those in need. My father dispelled the myth that all doctors are rich, but what he didn't earn in money was more than made up for in the satisfaction that he got knowing that he made a difference in the lives of his patients. For my father, service is what life is all about. I followed in my father's footsteps, not in becoming a doctor, but nonetheless in choosing to serve. And I chose to serve my country in uniform, and later to serve you and with you for the people of Maryland. It's because I tried to follow my father's example. And each of you, graduates, must find your own way to answer the call to serve. Each of you will be receiving a degree from Anne Arundel Community College today. Some of you will continue on to a 4-year degree program at another college or university. Some of you are going to jump right into the job market and help keep Maryland's reputation of having one of the best, brightest, and most educated workforces in the country. And some of you will stay in the jobs you have now, better equipped, better prepared to use the skills and tools and education that you received here to strengthen those workplaces. But no matter what degree you're receiving today, it's up to you to reach into your heart for grace and to search your soul for love, to serve your neighbors and those around you. History will look back on you and ask, what difference did you make in this world? How did you serve your neighbor, your community? And while you may be determined to make a big, meaningful difference in this world, and I know you will, remember the words of Dr. Marian Wright Edelman, who founded the Children's Defense Fund. And she said, we must not, in trying to think about how we can make a big difference, ignore the small daily differences we can make, which over time add up to big differences that we often cannot foresee. Meaningful service can be the small daily differences that we make in people's lives. Joining the prison ministry where you worship and teaching an inmate to read once a week. Volunteering once a month at the women's shelter to mentor or counsel a young woman on how to interview and dress for a job. Giving blood at the local blood bank every 56 days so that you might save a person whose life depends on the gift of life. When you leave here today and tomorrow arrives, I challenge you to ask yourself, how will I choose to serve? How will I make a difference? Will I work for our government or a nonprofit to help bring the Chesapeake Bay back to its pristine form? We need the best and the brightest to protect our environment. Will I teach in an underperforming school to educate and develop the creative potential of our most at-risk youth? We need the best and the brightest in our classrooms. Will I establish a small business in the heart of our community and sponsor a Little League soccer team? Will I join the Peace Corps? Will I join the armed forces? Will I set an example of service for my children? You'll make these choices, and today is truly just the beginning. I'd be remiss to leave this podium without offering a few pieces of personal advice. My first, don't be afraid to fail. The writer Samuel Beckett said, "Ever tried, ever failed. No matter, try again, fail better." You'll never learn to succeed or truly appreciate success unless you've ever failed. More than that, you'll never learn what you are capable of unless you've ever failed. Little footnote, don't go out and try to fail, but you might. Bill Gates failed to graduate from college but succeeded as the founder of Microsoft. J.K. Rowling, with a child but without a job, failed to get her original manuscripts published 12 times but succeeded the 13th time. And I think we all know how well it turned out for her and Harry Potter. My second piece of advice, life is short, live well. Don't forget to take time for yourself and for your family and friends. Continue to play in the park, on the stage, or on a court. Stop to smell the roses, plant a few. If you can, give a few if you know what's good for you. Travel and explore the world. You never know what you can find and appreciate at home unless you've discovered the world away from home. Remember the poem written by Robert Frost, "Think about the road not taken and take it." Good luck, graduates. Live well, serve, and be great. Thank you.